All right, everybody ready? Yeah. All right, we're gonna let Evan pour into us for a little bit here. Evan is, he'll give you his background story. I've known Evan basically, I think a third of his life. But,
Probably. Probably. Yeah, that's crazy to say.
Yeah, this honestly, sometimes when I tell people that, like sometimes it makes me realize how fucking old I am. But just let's ask questions, pour into it. Like anybody, if you're new into the business, this is the room to be in. Okay, you always want to try to figure out what rooms to be in. This is the room to be in. So let's give Evan a round of applause. Let's rock and roll.
Whoa, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. God, are you guys still asleep? Good morning. Good morning. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, thank you all, like Glenn said, thank you all for taking the time away from the dealership, away from your families. Thank you for investing the time, energy, and effort. Like Glenn said, and I've switched my mentality since he told me that story about the guy who spends time with his family, who spends time with important things instead of invest it, right? That really helped shift my mentality, and it was an aha moment, right? So I think everybody, if you don't take away anything, that's one massive thing to take away. Let's invest. We want an ROI, right? Like when you make an investment, do you just expect it to go away? You expect a return on that investment. When you spend your dollars or your time or your money, you're not expecting anything back from that, right? So I thought that was a key takeaway from Glenn. So thank you all. And I want you to ask yourself, why are you here, right? And I want this to be an interactive conversation. I don't want this to be me just speaking and you guys listening, right? I want to be interactive. We're all professionals. We all want to get better. You guys are here for a reason. And I want to know why. Why are you here today?
To get better.
To get better, okay. What does that mean, to get better?
To see an improvement in my ability in sales and life in general from yesterday.
Okay. What else? Get more specific.
More specific.
I want to be more efficient with my time.
More efficient with time. What else? Shout them out.
To learn sales.
Learn sales. What else?
Work-life balance.
Work life. Sam, why are you here?
I'm just a sponge. I just want to learn.
Okay.
Absolutely, I like that.
Anybody else? Why are you here?
Probably to have a different mindset than the competition.
Mindset.
Tools they don't have.
I like that. All these are awesome, right? And all these lead to a couple different things, a couple different topics. One of them, get better, more efficient with time, learn sales. You want more dollars in your bank account, right? You want freedom. What do dollars actually do for you, right? When we ask ourselves, we set these goals and the targets, why do we do the things that we do? A lot of us would be freedom. Like it is for me, right? I want freedom. I want time with my family. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, right? So I want you guys to think the whole time that you're here, why are you here? Get specific with it and take something from it. I go to a lot of these conferences. I speak a lot of places. And some of the things one of the most impactful things that I heard from a guy on stage, he was like, if you go somewhere and invest your time, energy, and effort, and you take all these notes and then you go back and you throw it into a drawer or you act on one or two of these things, you're not actually doing what gets you better, what makes you more efficient, what helps you learn in sales, work-life balance, all those things. You're not true to yourself, right? So the last thing I want you to do is to listen, take notes, and then go back and do the exact same thing, right? I want you to commit to change at least one thing or add one thing. Take something from today and actually show why you're here, why you're using these resources. Anybody know what this is?
Hellcat.
Hellcat.
Wide body.
Wide body. Anybody know what these are?
Red key, black key.
Red key, black key. What does the black key do?
Valet key.
Not very fun.
Okay, not very fun. 500 horsepower. Still a fast car, right? Still a nice car. When you get the red key, what does that do? It activates something inside of it, right? And that's kind of what we are at 800%. I know that you guys will get where you want to go by yourself. I know. I have no doubt. You've already put in the energy. You're here. You're investing more time, energy, and effort than most of the population, right? I have no doubts that you're going to be elite one day. We just want to be the red key, right? We've been blessed to be in situations that not a lot of people have been blessed with, right? I'm from a small town, 9,600 people. Anybody ever heard of Paris, Kentucky? Yeah, I got some Kentuckians, so they know. Paris, Kentucky, small town. I grew up there. Bourbon County was my high school. And I was literally sitting, one day I was sitting in English class, and it was kind of like a room like this, and I could see outside, and I could see a building kind of like right across the street here. And it was Dan Cummins Chevrolet. And I saw it every day. I would go into English class, and I would see it. And I was a senior at the time, and we had what we called co-op, right? So you could either stay in school all day, or you could have a job, and half the day you got to go to that job, right? Well, I didn't like school a whole lot. So I had to figure out, how can I get the hell out of here, right? How can I get out of this place? So I looked across the street one day and I said, you know what, I'm going to walk across and I'm going to put in my application. I don't care what I do. I don't care what the title is. And I'm just going to start. I'm going to invest in myself. And I put in my application, and they called me the next day and said, okay, you can start. You're a detailer, right? That's how my journey started in the car business. And I'm sure that a lot of you all didn't grow up as kids and say, Dad, Mom, I want to grow up and be a car salesman, right? We all got into this industry a little bit differently. How did you get into the industry?
Well, my mom, she was in sales, finance, and everything my whole life, so I've been around the dealership my whole life. I never planned to be in sales at all.
Yeah.
She never wanted me to be.
Yeah.
But one day I hated my job that I had at the time, and I reached out to Sam, who I knew through her, and he gave me an opportunity.
Cool. What was one of the biggest motivating factors for you to get into sales?
Financial freedom.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Absolutely. What about you? You're newer into sales. You're about to start, right? So what was the purpose, or what was the reason that you decided to commit to this journey?
Well, first, I'm a man of faith. You know, a lot of me coming out, I drove 12 hours to be here and answering the call. I've known Sam for a long time and have a great relationship with him. And I'm part owner of a company where I feel like I just kind of hit my ceiling, and I'm ready for the next chapter, ready to learn and grow, be a sponge, as he said.
I love it. What about you?
Worked blue collar most of my life, and I just got tired of clocking in the old 9-to-5 job. Wanted to find something to better myself, and seen potential. Sam seen more potential in me than most other people in my career, and he decided to give me the opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. What about you?
I just needed a job.
Yeah?
I moved to.
It's real.
I moved from my hometown to Madison, Wisconsin, and then my friend had just so happened to be transferring as well, and he got a spot, and he was like, "Hey, this spot's kind of cool. Send your application in." I sent my application Wednesday night. Thursday morning, they called me.
Nice. I love it. What about you? Yep.
The number one motivator in life is money, baby.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Financial freedom, man, is the dream, right?
We all felt like there was something more there, right? We all felt like we could make a bigger impact. We could make more money. We could develop ourselves. We could be more than what we're currently being. Like you said, you've worked blue collar jobs, clocking in and clocking out. You probably got to a point where you're like, I could do more, right? I could do more with my life. I could help people. I feel like I could make more money and better my family. And you took a risk, right? You took a leap. And that's what the industry is. It gives back tenfold. It gives you what you put in it, right, Sam? I mean, you know, it doesn't matter what your background is. If you went to college, doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter if you're male, female. It doesn't discriminate, right? It doesn't discriminate. It gives you what you put in. So I want you to think of us as the red key, right? You're going to get there regardless, but we want to give you the tools to get you there faster and more fun, right? You got to have fun while you do it. Does everybody set targets and goals for themselves?
Yes.
What's one key thing about when you set targets and goals, Sam? What do you look at?
Purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah. It doesn't matter about the top of the mountain if I don't know the top of the button off the climb.
That's
so
right.
I just try to like really stop in to smell the flowers. I get told that all the time that like some people have this thing. It's like, oh, you're working too much. You gotta slow down. What are you doing, Sam? You know.
Yeah.
I hear those echoes all the time. I'm just like, you sound like a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
If I passed over dead at my office, just know I did it with the amount of love and effort that I have, because that's my cup. Getting the money isn't necessarily fascinating to me, because if you don't have purpose, the money means nothing.
That's exactly right.
Purpose.
Spot on. I love that, man. That leads me to this, right? A lot of us, we have trials and tribulations. We have different obstacles that present themselves in our day-to-day lives or our lives, and it's our opportunity to pick a door, to turn around, to pivot, whatever you want to call it. And I was running the other day. I'm a runner. Any runners in the room? Any runners? Okay, I like it. Yeah? Good for you, man. It's a journey. It's a journey for sure. I've been running for a few years. So I was running the other day, and I was passing this sign, and I was like, you know what? Turn around ahead, right? I've had some obstacles in my life, and I've had a lot of people say some sort of phrase like that, right? Turn around, man. You're not doing the right thing. Sales isn't for you. Why would you get into that type of business? You're screwing over customers. You're doing all the negative things that we might hear on a day-to-day basis or a monthly basis or whatever you might say. But greatness doesn't fear a course correction. It welcomes it. Because the elite don't chase comfort, they chase clarity, right? That aligns with what you said. Be clear. To be clear is to be kind, right? To understand why we do what we do on a daily basis, and to be super clear. Like, I don't want you all, the biggest thing that changed us at our dealership to grow from, and I'll get into the background here in a minute, to grow from 120 to 125 units sold per month to over 1,132 in our biggest month ever. Out of a single point Chevy store with 43 salespeople, 7 finance managers, 6 or 7 desk managers, like we created this culture, right? We created this culture, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without everybody being super clear about what the objective was, right? So I don't want you guys just to go to work and do what you said. Clock in, clock out, sell cars, and get comfortable. Because if you're comfortable, that's when Glenn says the most comfortable time is right before death, right? I want you all to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where we're going to grow. Clarity. So let's get into some of the things that we're hearing in the market right now. And Glenn kind of touched on this a little bit. This is not going to be an easy time. This is not going to be COVID era, right? Some of us got spoiled during that time. Some of us created bad habits during that time. Some of us started during that time, and we don't understand what it was like before then, right? So what are we seeing in the market right now? We know interest rates. What else are we seeing with our customers? What are some of the obstacles or challenges that you're facing on a day-to-day basis?
Negative equity.
Negative equity, yeah. Right now, the average, this report was done last week. Over the year, the average negative equity was $6,100. That's, of course, all of the nation. $6,100 negative equity. You think that impacts your deal?
100%.
You think it makes it a little bit more difficult to get it bought from the bank? Need more cash down, to convince the customer that they're in a negative position, right? That's never fun. You get your first pencil and you show 10 grand negative equity. How much is that a month? Does anybody know?
That's like $200 a month.
$200 a month just to pay off their mistake, right? 18% year-over-year increase in negative equity. So it's not going to get any easier, right? Not saying that the market doesn't fluctuate, but it's not going to get any easier. So how do we prepare for that, right? We have a saying, and I want everybody to write this down, right? Because I think sometimes people think that if we make a change, we're going to succeed, right? If we make a change, we're going to succeed. That's not always the case. That's not always the case. We've got a few things in between that, right? And this next step, people tend to back out or turn around like I just showed you, right? They feel like, it's just not for me, or I need to make another change, right? Sometimes we get in this loop where you just loop right here in the first two. You make a change, you struggle, then you change it again. Way too early. We've got to give it time, right? We have to accept the struggle. We have to accept the uncomfortableness, right? We have to be uncomfortable and struggle through it. So we make a change. What's a change that you're going to make, Sam? We'll say in 2026. What's a big change for you?
What time I get to work?
What time you get to work, right? At first, it's probably going to be a little struggle, right?
Yeah.
Because you're interrupting that pattern that you're used to. And then what's going to happen when you get used to it and it becomes easier to do than not to do?
Oh, grow.
You're going to grow, right? And then obviously through growth, that's when we hit our success. But if if we just stay in this loop, you're never going to succeed to the level that you want to, and you should, right? So change, struggle, grow, succeed. This was a massive part of what we did over at the dealership when we were selling cars. We had a meeting about this, and we brought the whole staff, 70-something people on the sales teams, and we were like, look, we've made changes before, and we've struggled, and maybe even we've had some growth, but then we cycled back around and made too many changes too fast. So I'm going to challenge you to think about this pathway as you decide to change something, right? What's one thing that you're going to change when you get back? Or for 2026, we'll say the new year since we're so close.
Becoming more intentional with my time.
More intentional with your time. What does that mean?
Not being afraid to schedule and plan, not just when I'm at work, but all my time.
The white space on a calendar is the devil, quoted from Grant Cardone, right? The white space on the calendar is the devil. Fill your calendar up with purposeful time and meaning, right? Be purposeful with your time. Don't just set things to set things. I like that. What about you?
Change. I've done a lot of changing over the past 4 months already.
Okay.
So I'm kind of,
So what's something that you have changed that now you're going to continue to do this path?
not to be afraid to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing and I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
But sometimes we need to fail in order to grow.
Absolutely. I love that. That's spot on.
Kind of at right now.
Yeah. I love that. So what's one thing that you're scared to fail at?
Work.
Work?
Work, yeah.
Not selling enough cars?
I don't want to disappoint Sam because he's put a lot of faith in me.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity and I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what are some action items? And the reason I'm asking these questions, and I want you guys to do this with yourself, right? To really dive in and don't just ask one thing or skip to, yeah, I'm going to do this and this is going to get me here. Iron out the blueprint, the action items. So what are some action items that you're going to do to make sure that doesn't happen? Think about it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to answer it right now, but I want you to think about what are the action items that I'm going to do to make sure that that doesn't happen, right?
Just try to do different things. You know what I mean? Try to get outside my box a little bit. Like you said, get a little uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah. And what does that mean?
Means that, I mean, surely I'll get better.
Yeah, but what does uncomfortable mean? Like, what are you going to do that's uncomfortable? You're going to make more calls. You're going to get in front of people. You're going
Go
to.
off script.
He's going to go
Yeah,
off
a little
script.
Man lives by it.
Yep.
He messes up a word, it's like I can see the panic
Yeah.
immediately. But I want him to.
Yes.
And as in the past couple months, as he was saying, he went from like you could have had a metronome in there and counted each syllable, each word at the same time.
Yeah.
And now he's just add a little funk to it. you know?
Yeah.
So I want him that change, that struggle, that option of failure. There's a high chance you're going to say the wrong thing and you're going to fail saying
Yes.
it, and then you're going to learn maybe I shouldn't say that in that situation again.
Yeah.
So I could see you. That's what I would love to see out of this.
Yeah.
Really, Charlie.
Conversation over closes, right? That's what I say. Conversation over presentations in F&I, which could work with sales as well. But having more relaxed conversation, like you're talking to people when you're selling cars, right? And the word tracks are great. They're awesome. They keep us on path. They give us an idea of the way that we should go, right? I don't want anybody to take exactly what I'm saying and say the exact same thing. I do it because I'm most confident that way, right? I've learned from mentors and people that had taught me, but I've also shifted it, like you said, to my own way that I was confident. Confidence is everything. If you're not confident, the customer's going to pick up on that, right? They're going to pick up on that you're not confident, and maybe they think they doubt you, right? So one thing I will tell you is just to keep pushing forward, keep being in the uncomfortable zones, and understand that, like, you don't have to be perfect, and it's honestly better not to be, right? Be yourself. Find what makes you the most confident and do more of that. You'll attract people and customers that you want to do business with, right? So I'll say that. Change, struggle, grow, succeed. Big part of what we do and why we do it. Created a massive culture at our dealership. All right, we talked a little bit about AI, and I want to see a show of hands. Who uses AI on a daily basis? Not every now and then, daily. Okay, so we've got a good part of the room. Here's what I call the starting five. So in sales, it can get overwhelming sometimes with all the education and knowledge and all the information that's out there. So I like to simplify things. I don't want to, when I start something, I don't want to look at a lens that's spread way open. I want to kind of narrow it in a little bit. So my starting five with AI, and you can use any type of platform. First one is an objection bot, or a way, kind of what Sam just said, speaking to it like you would a customer, role playing with it, and understanding what are some word tracks or ways that I could maybe get around that or close the deal, right? That's one way. You could also treat it as a personal executive assistant, right? You could say, hey, I want it, and the thing about AI, right, it's not what can it do, it's what can you think of to get it to do, right? It's all limited by your rooftop. It can do a lot more than what we think or we can do, right? So it's really your rooftop. So treating it as a personal assistant on setting appointments, on what else would you do with it, Sam? You use it all the time as far as a personal assistant. Time blocking your day. What else?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Setting up structure.
So they're calling him Hatch, so I thought you were talking to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it literally, it is my personal assistant. I mean, I come my meetings, what the meetings I'm going to have for the day, I've got it like pre-planned through there. Actually, one of the coolest things I've done, because I taught my sales team to go ahead and subscribe to like newsletters like Car Dealership Guy and Asoto and automotive news and stuff like that. So I have a prompt in ChatGPT to where I have it give me all the top news from automotive from the day before, and how it relates to the retail world of a dealership. And I'll show you guys this evening or tomorrow, whenever I go again. I'll put it up onto the screen, and it gives you a complete breakdown you can read it within a minute or two, and you'll get all the news you need to know on the used side, new side, incentives, what's moving, what's not moving. You can get everything you want on a fresh day basis.
Super simple, I do it with finance too, right? I just asked it, hey, research the market every Friday at 7 a.m. Send me an email with all of the updated market relevant information with finance and the automotive industry. If I've already seen it or you've already told me about it, don't include it. Took me 5 seconds to type that in, or I honestly, I speak to text now. Nick, one of our IT guys, he showed me an app called Whisper. If you don't know it or haven't heard of it, write it down, Whisper. It's like a speak to text, and I'm literally, it's a lot faster than you think, and you use it a lot more, especially on like a desktop. So Whisper's a good one as well. Follow-up messages. How many times have people, you all wanted to follow up, or you've wanted to send a customer something, or you know that you had to, but you can't think about what to send them, right? Or you're hesitant on what to actually type up and send to them. This can help give you ideas of personalized ways that you can follow up with that customer. You can take the notes from your CRM and input it into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to make a list of 6-month follow-up. Every single week I want to send them a personalized message. How would I do that? What would I say? All of those things. And it'll create, and you can obviously tweak it, but just getting you to think of outside the box ways. Personalized product knowledge. So I use this with finance as well, which you guys should be learning the products that they sell as well, or that they offer as well, right? You need to be just as knowledgeable, because I'm guaranteed, is there anybody in the room that wants to say a salesperson forever, right? Mentally, sure. I know where my brain was going to. But you don't want to stay in the same position. Anybody in the room want to make more money? Raise your hand. Yeah? Okay. A few of us, right? Pretty much everybody. So the only way to do that is to know how to do the job that you want before you get the opportunity to do it. That's the easiest way to get a promotion, right? Is to understand all of the ways of what you're going to do before you actually get promoted. I had a guy, his name was Kelly Slade, and there was another guy named Eric Jolly, and they sat with me. They asked me, they come to me. I had a lot of salespeople wanted to do this after they did it. They came to my office one day, and they saw me doing a couple deals, and they heard about what I made that month, right? And that kind of triggered them. We all triggered by something. And he was like, you care if I sit in on a couple deals with you? No problem. 6 months he sat in on deals. Early days, late days, 11 o'clock nights. He would stay with me. He wasn't getting a penny extra, but he was learning. He was getting one up on all of his competitors, the 43 other salespeople that wanted that seat, right? That seat paid about $500,000 a year. Would anybody want that seat in here, right? So he had to get one up on his competitor. And a way that he did that, he started learning the craft before he got the opportunity. He knew it. So he was already one up when they did interviews. He put his hand up and they were asking him questions about different scenarios and deals. And he's like, oh, I can take it one more. Let me structure a menu out and present it to you real fast. Right? Can you imagine? Sam goes to you and he's doing interviews for a finance position or a sales manager position, and you start asking him questions instead of him asking you questions, right? Start questioning the way that maybe the process is. Well, I've seen the process for 6 months, but I think if we started doing this and doing that, maybe it'll be a little bit more efficient. You think that conversation, you think when he left the interview, he would be like, oh, I didn't know he knew all that. I didn't know that he was ready or she was ready for that position, but they already know how to do it. I don't have to train them. They're plug and play, right? So just think about that. Be knowledgeable about the next step. You got to learn about where you want to go and really be in it before you're actually there, right? So product knowledge on the products that you sell, lender knowledge, knowing the banks and the programs. Does anybody currently know any lender knowledge programs, banks? Anybody currently stay up on that? Well, obviously, same. Yeah. We should do more of it in sales, right? We should do more of it. We're not just selling the product. We need to think about our future. Maximizing daily objectives, time blocking your day, right? Does anybody time block their day? Anybody know what their perfect day looks like? I teach this in F&I because we spend a lot of hours at the dealership, and a lot of the times, a lot of those hours aren't selling cars, right? Can we agree with that? So to maximize and to be most efficient with the time that we're at the dealership, we need to have a blueprint. We need to have a map. We need to have some way to track it. So I'll challenge you all to track out your days, right? To block out your days. And I'm saying your perfect day. I understand we get pulled in all these different directions, but map out, if you could pick the perfect day, what would that be, right? If you could pick the perfect day, what would it be? Where would you start? When do you wake up in the morning?
Probably 5 a.m.
Okay. From 5 to 7, what are you doing?
Meditate, stretch, run, workout, shower, breakfast, huddle.
Nice. And what are you doing after that? From 7 to 9. Right?
Getting ready for the workday. Getting ready for the workday, like seeing what tasks I have. Planning out, do I have an appointment? Am I going to be trying to get somebody into the dealership to try to sell them a car, or am I going to be trying to do follow up with somebody? Like
follow up, right.
Getting those things kind of lined up.
I want you guys to block out in couple hour increments what that perfect day looks like, and let's try to stick to it as much as possible, and I guarantee you're going to be more productive and sell more cars, right? We have to know what we're doing throughout the day so that we can actually achieve it. Social media. Who's using social media to sell cars, right? We all should. What's one way that you're using social media?
Me.
Yep.
Facebook Marketplace, making random posts. Not as much as I need to be here recently, but mostly Facebook Marketplace.
Yep. What about you? How are you using social media?
Making ridiculous videos of me flopping around in a truck bed.
Yeah, I see some of those. I've seen them. I like it. What about you? How are you using social media?
Me?
You.
Facebook, Marketplace, just staying in contact with my customers, staying ahead of the competition, kind of seeing what other dealerships are doing, other people that are killing it on Marketplace, kind of adopting new ideas.
I think Sam does an amazing job at this, right? Being unique, being different, catching that customer's attention without selling, right? It's not all, we don't always have to be selling on social media either. And that's not, to be honest, I guarantee you've got more deals off of videos and posts that weren't selling related, right? Yeah. People just want something to relate to, right? So we've got what we call, I'm gonna see if I can find this real quick, what we call the 4 Ps of social media. Does anybody know them? Here's the 4 Ps. Everybody take a picture of this or write it down, whatever you're doing. 4 Ps of social media. The first one's personal. What would be a personal post? What would be a personal post?
Say your kid has a birthday party.
Yep.
Or something goes on in your family or something like that. Or
so for
kind of achievement that you do.
Yep.
Put it out there.
Yep. So for him, it would be family. What would be a personal post for you? What would be a personal post for you?
Like pictures of my dog, stuff like that.
Okay. Pictures of your animals, pictures of your dogs, getting people engaged, right? The second one's professional. What would that mean, Sam? Professional posts.
Just something correlating to maybe coming down to the dealership or inquiring. So just saying, hey, we have an abundance of X, Y, and Z.
Yep. Letting people know what you do for a living. I guarantee you, you have contacts in your phone that are looking to buy a car right now but don't know that you work at a dealership. As crazy as that sounds, right? You've got thousands of friends on Facebook or hundreds of friends on Facebook, and I guarantee you a big percentage of them have no idea what you do for a living. So if we can continue to educate people to know what we do as a profession, you might sell something, right? Purposeful. What would a purposeful post be? Go ahead.
No, that's tough to say. Something that you're driven towards or your goal in selling cars.
Yeah.
Giving customers good deals.
Your purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Denver? What would be a purposeful post that you could make?
A purposeful post could be something along the lines of
Giving knowledge, right? Giving knowledge to the person that's consuming the content. Making it purposeful, like you've actually taken time and you've educated something, you've learned something and you want to share it with them, right? Purposeful. Poll. What would a poll be? Anybody know what a poll?
Question.
A question, right? What kind of question?
Ketchup or mustard?
Yeah, a simple question, right? Simple question. Usually 2 to 3. I like 2 because it's easy, right? People will see it, scroll, and they'll put a comment in, right? What do we need to do when people comment?
Comment back.
Comment back, right? Engage, have conversation. People like that, and they're attracted to that. That builds fans. Fans buy from you. People that know you, like you, and trust you will spend money with you, right? So I want you guys 2 times a day, and these rotate, right? 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. So the first day you're doing personal, professional, and then you're rotating them, right? Twice a day. 2 posts a day. And one thing that I think that we could change, that I see throughout the industry, is posting pictures of the customer smiling next to the car on our Facebook, right? What does that do, right? What is that? What's the purpose of that? Because your friends don't care that you sold a car to a random person, right? What do you think?
I would think that there's a lot of purpose behind it if you tag the people to engage in a different audience.
Yep.
Because your feed, if you just only post your sold photos, you're gonna reach some type of ceiling to where if you tag the person and the dealership and keep yourself as a personal page, you get the exposure from all 3 avenues.
And take it to a next level. Have the customer post you, right? Have the customer post the picture of them and you in the photo, right? We used to do that at the dealership. That was something different than we did. We would have somebody take a picture of you have to be in the photo as well and have them share it or post it, because that's a whole different market that you're probably not tapped into unless your family or have tons of mutual friends, right? Taps into a whole different market. Social media, we got those. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I'm Evan Walters, aka the Money Man, right? And there's a reason behind that. When I was 15 years old, I've been motivated to do more and work my whole life. When I was 15 years old, I worked at a local supermarket. It was called Ken's New Market, right? And this was my journey to sales, to entrepreneurship, to motivation, all of those things. I would take out, it was old school hometown grocery, and I would take out people's groceries for them, right, and load them into the car. And I had this older lady that she would only buy like milk, eggs, bread, right? Simple. And I didn't have to carry that out for her. She was very capable, but I would do it just to conversate and keep her company, right? And I walked out and I'd put it in the back of her car. And one day she was like, you know, why do you do this? I love it, but why do you do this for me? And I'm like, you know what? I want to give back. I want to in any way possible. And this is my job, this is my commitment. And one day, just like I always did, she came in and I set her groceries down and she handed me a $100 bill. And that $100 bill, I made like $7.50 an hour, right? It would take me a long time to make $100. And $100 at 15 years old, right, is a lot of dough. And that was a pivotal moment, and it made me realize, like, I don't have to work this hard, this long to make this money. I just have to make an impact. I just have to do something different than other people won't do. And that's what I started doing throughout my life in my teenage years. And I eventually became a detailer, like I said, right? I detailed cars for 2 years. Any detailers in the room? Anybody started in detail? Perfect, yeah, a couple of them. So everybody knows when you get this, where do you start? Right? Yeah. Where do you start, right? There's a process to it, and this is why I'm bringing it up. There has to be a defined process. We all know the road to the sale, right? That process that was created a long time ago, and it's a structure that we need to follow. We all need structure. What would happen, to my detailers in the room, what would happen if I just started vacuuming? Wouldn't be good, right? Wouldn't be good. Think of it as, refer to it as the sales process. What if you upped a customer and you said, all right, let's look at your trade, first thing. Or you started at, let's say, how are you going to pay for this vehicle? And they don't even have a selection. They don't have the vehicle. They don't have anything, right? Any type of process, we got to stick to it. So what's the first thing that you would do if you open the door to this? First thing I'm doing is I'm grabbing all the big stuff, the trash, right? I'm throwing it in the trash bag. What's the next thing that we do?
I start on the carpet.
Yeah, I'm going to take all the trash out, and then I'm going to start vacuuming, right? I'm going to vacuum the first time, and then I'm going to blow it out. I'm going to blow all the crannies out, all of this crap. I'm blowing it all out. And why do I do that? Is because if I vacuumed it all and got it clean and then I blew it out, that's double the work, right? So what are you currently doing in your process right now where you're doing double the work? Well, you don't have to do, right? If we just do it the first time and do it right, though it might seem it takes longer and it might be harder, you don't have to touch it again, right? So after you do that, you shine it all up, you clean the inside, then you move to the outside, right? I'm not going to spray it with water first and then soap it and then not spray it again, right? I'm not going to skip steps. Does anybody skip steps when we sell cars, right? Because we think that it's a more efficient or easier or faster way. But it doesn't give you the final product destination that you deserve, right? We have to follow those processes. So when I was a detailer, I did that for 2 years. I finally realized there's more there, right? I went from cart pusher, getting $100, realizing I can make money faster. Then I went to a detailer, and I'm like, damn, I've seen all these salespeople bringing me Corvettes, bringing me high countries, and I ask them, you know, what type of customers are buying these? They're like, me, I'm buying it. I'm like, shit, dude. Where you work? I was like, I need a job. It's right up the hill. And I started learning. I started getting intrigued. And I'm like, if I can go from making $180 a week to making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, whatever my vision was, that would be amazing, right? Does anybody remember their first sale? A lot of us, right? Doesn't matter if you sold 10,000 cars, you're going to remember that first sale. Why is that, right? It's always intrigued me. Why is that, Sam? Why do you think it is?
Oh man, emotion in that time.
Yeah.
You know? We had a huge thing at the dealership I worked at where not only do they get to ring this giant bell, but every person came over to you and they make the customer cut your tire.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had like my favorite, it was just a whole sentimental thing.
Yeah.
And then here I am selling a car. So,
Yeah.
And the guy's name was just Amadou Ba. I'll never
Yeah.
forget it. You know,
Yeah.
Don't ask me how to spell it, but
Yeah.
I can't forget it.
I love it, man. But it's a pivotal moment because you realize what's possible. That, at least for me, right? I realized that I had this guy's name was Daniel. And Daniel, this is the second day, he came back to pick up his car because Daniel was my first sale. Now, I got into sales. My interview with Glenn was go sell a car. Right? Any of us started like that? Go sell a car. That's your interview. If you sell a car, you get a job. If you don't, you still have a job in detail, right? I'm like, what the fuck? How do I sell a car, dude? I don't know. I'm not, at that point, I'm an introvert. I would at least like to consider myself that way. And I didn't really have that customer background, that customer-facing background. So I said, how do I start? And he said, well, I'd probably go get in front of a customer. That'd be square one. So I walked outside on the point and I started shaking hands. Took 3 or 4 ups, did all the things I shouldn't do, right? Let people leave when they shouldn't have, never brought them inside, showed them 57 bazillion cars, right? Got them all confused, and then they ended up leaving, not buying a car. Well, it's 7:30 at night. We close at 8. There's one customer left in the showroom. Half our finance team is left. Very minimal skeleton crew, and I'm still pacing up front, waiting for that customer, right? Because I'm not a quitter. I'm not gonna quit. I can't go back to detail. I'm not gonna make $180 a week. It's not gonna happen anymore. So I'm pacing back and forth, and this 94 Malibu comes sputtering with a brake light out and all kind. I mean, it looked like a 94 Malibu, right? I go out and I'm like, oh, here we go. I got a customer, right? I didn't care at that point. I didn't have any of those bad habits. I didn't have any of those thoughts of, damn, this is going to be a difficult deal. It's late at night. I've got dinner waiting at home. My wife's going to be complaining at me. They're never going to buy anything. They can't afford it. All those things that we tell ourselves when we're in those difficult deal scenarios, or should we take the deal or not, right? Everybody's been there, right? Everybody's acted like they had a customer. Everybody's gone out the back door. Everybody's flipped open their laptop or acted like they were on the phone, or told somebody, yeah, I got a customer. They're on their way here. Anybody ever said that? Yeah, I got an appointment here in 20 minutes. You go ahead and take that right before we close, right? I had that green pea mindset. And I want all of you all to keep that. That's something that we never should get rid of. Not saying that you don't grow, but we keep that green pea mindset. We keep that mindset that this could be your last opportunity. This opportunity could take you to the next level, right? So I got the customer. Show them a couple cars. I look back, the finance person's flicking off the lights, right? And I say, hey, I got a deal. I got a deal. What do you think? How do you think he greeted me, the finance guy? Right?
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant. 9 o'clock at night, 94 Malibu. I don't like to judge people, but the guy didn't look like he could buy the shirt on his back, right? I go in and do a credit app, pull his credit. What do you think his credit was?
600.
Very close. It was like a 540 or something, right? 540. He wanted a, what do you think he wanted?
Diesel truck.
Hey, there he is. There he is. 200,000 mile diesel truck. I didn't know any different, right? I never even sold a car. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's a deal. It's done. It's only like $15,000. Surely we can get this financed, all the things. Like I had no idea, right? So I take it to my finance guy. He's looking it over and he's like, dude, you don't have a deal. I said, you don't understand. I have a deal. I have a customer right here. We got to make it a deal. So we go back and forth, end up get the deal done. The guy's in a new truck, right? Got $10,000 down. I believe he had a cosigner that was like 700-800 score. It was a deal, right? And I knew at that point, if I didn't have that green pea mindset, I would have let that customer walk. If I would have had that old mentality of my finance guy at the time, right? If I would have said, I just get them out, we'll worry about it, they would have gone to the dealership down the road and they probably would have done the same thing until they got to somebody that would give them a shot, right? So I closed the deal, everything's buttoned up, 10:30 at night, I'm happy, right? I'm the only one happy in the building. Everybody else pissed off that I kept them there. Finance guy turns around the screen, he goes, look at this. And it said $880. $880. I said, what is that? What does the store make? $880? He said, no, you made that. And I instantly flashed back of when I took those milk, eggs, and bread to that lady's car. It took me 5 seconds and little effort, and I made $100, right? And now I just made $880, and it took me very little effort from what I thought, because I have green pea mindset. Selling cars doesn't take that much effort, right? I know it does, but you guys know what I mean. It doesn't take that much effort in the real world. So I said, all right, here's the next level, right? First commission check. Anybody remember that? Kept you in the industry, right? And then, anybody ever seen those in your rear view? Yeah, I already know how you feel after those comments, right? Your stomach. Mine's getting that way right now, even looking at this, right? Gets twisted. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, even if you're a perfect human being and nothing is out of place and nothing's going to happen, like you still get that feeling. Well, I sold cars. After that first sale, I was top 3 on the leaderboard for the next 2.5 years. I made about $150,000 selling cars and I was 19 years old, right? What would yourself do with $150,000 a year at 19?
Go to the club.
All of it, right? Anything you can think of, I was doing it. The strip clubs, the drugging, the boozing, the partying it up. I didn't care, right? Even though I was underage, I could get in wherever I want. I'd throw them $100 to the bouncer. I'd do what I want, right? I got that mentality. And one day, God, and I'm a man of faith, God said, hey, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you 2 doors. Which door are you going to take? So I went to we broke a record. We sold 300 cars in our first month ever. And it was a smaller team at the time. I think we had 15 to 20 salespeople. We all went to this little hometown bar. Obviously, I think at that time I just turned 21. So I was legal to drink, but not this much, right? So I go to the corner corner bar, drinking, having shots, doing the things. I bought myself a new turbo Malibu. You remember those? A little turbo Malibu, thought it was hot shit. Got in it, turned a corner, peeling out, speeding. And by the way, I had all my windows tinted, my windshield tinted. I was smoking weed in the car. He pulls me over, it's the sheriff. He says, obviously, he opens the door, he smells the weed, he looks at me, he smells the alcohol, and he's like, and this, by the way, everybody's outside looking at me, right? They can see, I'm not far from this bar. Everybody comes outside, like, what's going on? Everybody's watching this, right? So he takes me out, does the field sobriety. He's like, dude, look, I'll follow you home. He gave me a break. I'll follow you home, all this. I said, perfect, whatever. He took all the stuff, threw it away, whatever he did with it. And I thought I was good, right? Thought I was good. And then a lady cop comes up beside me. And she says, roll down your window. I rolled it all the way down. She said, get out of the car. When I got out of the car, another cop came, handcuffed me, and threw me on the ground. They started searching my car, right? They found a bunch of other things. I had a gun in the back. I had a buddy with me that liked to do some blow, right? Had that in the car. So I looked like Pablo Escobar. Literally. Looked like Pablo Escobar. And they took me to jail, right? As they should have. As they should have. And it changed my life forever, right? So when that happens, I'm out of it, right? My mind, I think I'm fired, I'm done. My family's going to kill me. I lost my job. All the things, right? That's what was going through my head. And you can't see because it's cut off, but it kind of looks like what you guys are wearing here. What do you think? What do you think was right? What do you think was right there?
Oh, no,
yeah.
Work shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Small community. Everybody talks to everybody. Everybody knows everything before it happens, right? This was posted up all over the dealership when I got back to get my stuff, right? People thought it was funny. They really did. All the salespeople, sales managers, we had cubicles at the time posting printing that shit out and posting it. It was in the freaking newspaper, right? So I had a few options. And I think, and this relates, I'm sure it relates to some of you all. We come to this point and you have an option like, do I pivot? Do I change the direction? Do I go a different way? Do I pull back and retreat? Do I just cave in and let the things just unfold? Or do I move forward? Do I continue to push? If I have 3 ups on a Saturday and they're all garbage and I don't sell any cars and there's 2 hours left, do I just go in the back and take an L? Or do I get back out there and take 3 more ups and make it happen, right? All those pivotal moments that happen in every day that we take for granted, you have a choice. It's your choice what you do with it. And at that point in time, I had a choice. At least I didn't think I had a choice, but I did have a choice, right? Glenn came to me with the owner, and everybody wanted to fire me. Glenn had my back. He said, I don't know why, but I feel like this kid, man, I feel like he made a wrong decision, and I want to make sure to give him another opportunity. And he made it happen, right? I had to do 90 days. I don't know if anybody ever done bell to bell?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody ever done bell to bell? I had to do 90 days, bell to bell, no days off. Open the gate, close the gate. 6 a.m. We were a big store. We were selling probably 400 to 500 units a month at that point. So we opened the gate at 6, we closed it at 11, right, with the finance person. I did that every single day, no days off for 90 days. I call it 90 days in hell, right? On my lunch breaks, I would go to the church that was right down the road, and I would just ask, hey, get me through it or get me out of it, right? Get me through it or get me out of it. I can't do this anymore. So I break through and I get promoted, right? So what do you think? You go through, you get arrested, you make an example of yourself, and then you get an opportunity, you go through it, and you get an opportunity to get a promotion. What do you think the 40-something salespeople below me thought? You think they loved me and they thought, oh yeah, congratulations, that's awesome?
No.
Hell no. They thought this jackass, this young kid's going to go out here and make a fool of himself, and he gets an opportunity to get promoted? So I had to battle everyone wanting me out, right? Everybody thought that I shouldn't be in the position that I was. So I get into finance manager. 5 years down the road, I contracted over 8,100 deals, in 5 years. That's an average of about 150 deals in a month from start to finish. And this is where the money man comes in, right? I generated $25.6 million in 67 months for the company. I couldn't have done that if I didn't get another chance. I couldn't have done that if I doubted myself. I couldn't have done that if I thought it was over, right? If I pulled back, if I retreated, I had to push forward. 4,760 ceramic contracts were written at 58.7%. 212 deals. Whose dealership in here has ever sold 212 units in a month? I contracted that in one month myself, right? A couple of us. 1 month myself. Funded it, shipped it out to the bank, made sure everybody was happy and profitable, right? 18,096 hours. And then I'm here, right? And I'll tell you how I got here, and I'll keep it short. So I got to a point where I wanted to do more, right? I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people grow. I wanted to maybe be a finance director or a leader within the dealership. And I got to the point where it was kind of overpromised and under-delivered by people above me, right? Hey, you do this thing for this amount of time and we'll make you this, right? And I did it for double the time that they had said, and I had a family. I started having kids. I got real clear is what happened, right? Clarity. I got really clear on what I wanted. I didn't know how I was going to get it, but I knew that I wanted more time with my family. I knew that I still wanted to make money and make an impact in people's lives. I knew that I had to do something different than what I was doing, right? It hit that moment. So I jumped with Glenn 4 years ago with 800% Club and started working with hundreds of finance managers throughout the nation. And I do what I love on a day-to-day basis. I'm super passionate about it. I love speaking with people like you. I love helping. So even though I'm in my passion's finance, I've done everything in the dealership, and I'm here for you all. So if you need anything, please lean in. And this is my why, right, today. This is my why. My little guy, Barrett, he's 18 months, handful, right? Kyler, he's 3. My daughter turned 8 today. And then my beautiful wife, Destiny. This is why I do what I do. If you don't have a why or a purpose, I promise you won't get to where you deserve to be. And if you do have a why, and Danelle says this the best, who loses if you don't win? Right? I think about that every day. It's a post-it note on my computer. Who loses if you don't win? Write that down. Who loses if you don't win? If you think about that on a day-to-day basis, you're doing it for a bigger purpose than yourself, and you're going to get further. Who loses if you don't win?